This is ABC15 Mornings.
A moment that will live forever.
Booker drives past and throws it down. Devin Booker.
Devin Booker becomes legendary.
Booker uses the screen beautifully and flushes.
Chris Paul takes over.
Paul, little shake and bake, drives past him. Left-handed layup. It's good.
Putting the team on his back.
Paul, step back three-pointer. Puts it in and the foul. Chance for a four-point play.
We are the Western Conference champions.
The Suns are going to the NBA Finals. The Suns have an opportunity to be the kings of all of pro basketball.
But the work isn't done yet. 12 playoff wins so far, 4 more to go.
It's over.
Stand up, Phoenix. Your Suns are the best in the West. It's time to get locked in to the NBA Finals.
Oh, we're locked in, baby. We are ready to go. And we know that you guys feel this way as well. We've been tweeting with some of you on Facebook, texting. Everybody's really happy this morning here in Arizona.
Yeah, just so exciting. And just the emotion, too. Seeing Chris Paul last night, I mean, getting teary-eyed.
16 years, all these relationships, everything coming together.
This whole team just deserves it. We're here to rally the Valley for you this morning. Nick Saletti alongside Kaylee O'Kelly. Complete Suns coverage just moments away. But first, let's send things over to meteorologist HERMOSILLO, appropriately in her son's orange this morning.
And a lifelong fan. Yes.
Right?
I mean, it's just so hard not to be a fan,
right,
too. Whether you just moved here a few years ago or recently, you can jump on the bandwagon. It's all good. It's a great team to kind of rally behind. I know we're all pretty proud of them. As we wake up this morning, kick off your Thursday morning, we are waking up to mostly clear skies across the Phoenix area. That temperature, a little bit on the warm side, but it's dropped a bit more. 86 now at Phoenix Sky Harbor, so it's not as warm even as it was yesterday when we were still in the 90s by this point. So 86 at Sky Harbor. We'll make it back into the 90s, eventually still in the 90s through lunchtime, and those storm chances start to gradually tick up by around midday into the afternoon. There's a 10 to 20% chance for storms in the valley today, and we'll see a repeat of yesterday's high temperature back up to 106. We'll talk about what you need to be on the lookout for storm-wise today in that full forecast still ahead. Megan Thompson. Oh, nope, we're talking Suns. Kaylee, sorry.
Don't be sorry. We'll get there. We'll get there. Okay. You know what? We all stayed up late last night. I'm sure you guys did too at your house. For thousands of Suns fans, there wasn't any time to sleep. They flooded the airport to welcome our team back, the Western Conference champs. And my goodness, such a surreal scene out there.
The best in the West. Mark Thompson live at Phoenix Suns Arena this morning. And Mark, that place is going to go bananas come next week. Because, I mean, we're seeing what it already was last night.
Look at all those people.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I got a chance to rest my arm during the last live shot. So, you know what? The fist pump, it is back. Yes, we brought home the dub. I was so excited last night, so excited that I couldn't even watch, because usually I'm bad luck. When I start watching, they lose, so I turn the TV off. But I was pleasantly surprised to get my phone message that the Suns had won. And game one of the NBA Finals in Phoenix Suns, that's going to be either next Tuesday or Thursday right here at Phoenix Suns Arena. We're going to have to wait and see at first what happens in the Eastern Conference Final. But yeah, I'm going to say it. The Suns, they've got the best fans in the league. And last night, those fans, they were driving through the streets, honking their horns. Thousands even made the trip to the airport to welcome the team as they arrived back from Los Angeles. This is, of course, a basketball town. The Suns were the first professional sports team to come here way back in 1968. Fans could not get enough last night as the players drove by, respecting that history, the town ready for a championship. And for many, it looks like this could really be our year.
I'm happy. We got 4 more to go, though, but I'm happy right now. I'm very happy. Let's go, baby. 4 more to go. 4 more to go. Getting the job done. Chris Paul ending the game in Chris Paul fashion.
This is crazy. Like I said, I don't know anybody, but hey, look how hype everybody is. Let's go! Let's go!
Ever since I can remember, I went to a first Suns game with my dad at a bar in Springerville, and I shouldn't have even been able to get in. And we watch it ever since then. That's my team. This is the Valley.
And that is so true. Like that one fan said, I don't even know anybody, but I still want to get the crowd hyped up. I mean, it doesn't matter where you're from. We got a lot of people from out of state who now live here in Phoenix who have become Suns fans. That's okay. There's enough room on this championship bandwagon. Again, we've got home court advantage for games 1 and 2. Tickets, they're going to go on sale at 11 o'clock this morning to the general public. Probably not going to be cheap, but guess what? It's the hottest ticket in town. So if you get it, it is worth it. Reporting live this morning from downtown Phoenix, Mark Thompson, ABC 15 Arizona. Guys, I'm going to send it back to you. Yes, we brought home that dub, guys.
Feels so good, yes, and we're loving your fist bump for sure. Thank you, Mark. Generational. I mean, it's been just so much fun.
30 years almost.
Yes, every single game of the NBA Finals, they're going to be right here on ABC 15. We do want to bring in our ABC 15 sports team for more on this massive win. Also talking about how the team is preparing for this shot at the championship.
Coach Craig Fouhy is in LA. Colin Harmon in studio.
Well, good morning. The Phoenix Suns are Western Conference champions for the first time since 1993. Craig Fouhy is in Los Angeles wrapping things up from the Staples Center. Fouhy, how was the game last night? How would you best sum up the experience and the emotions that you saw from everyone at the building that represents the Phoenix Suns?
How about once in a lifetime, right? For me, for Chris Paul, for Devin Booker, for Monty Williams, for the whole team. James Jones had been there before, obviously, but this Suns team going back to the NBA Finals for the first time since 1993. 28 years ago, Colin, and it was a total team effort here last night.
It's been far too long, and the Suns fan base not only deserved it so much for going through all the lean years recently, you know, from 2010 on, but even the years prior to that, you know, the good Nash teams, the 7 seconds or less where bounces went one way or the other and they came up short. I mean, this has not only been a long time in the making for recently, but the good teams that should have been there and never got there. I mean, this has been far too long, man. What a night. I mean, just unbelievable. It's hard to put into words.
Colin, Suns fans are calling it the jinx, the curse, right? No matter what. It was Steve Nash's broken nose. It was Amari and Boris getting suspended for a game. It was Joe Johnson. It was Amari getting hurt. I mean, you name it, it was the jinx of the Suns for so long. So watching that trophy presentation last night was so meaningful for so many Valley Suns fans across the country. Let's face it, not just in Arizona, Suns fans all over the country. But for me personally, it was a very sweet moment, I can tell you that.
Monty Williams said he shed some tears prior to the game just thinking about his journey. Chris Paul shed some tears after the game when he was hugging Monty. Just the journey that they've been through together, and that you mentioned, Chris, I mean, 16 years, surefire Hall of Famer to have never been to the NBA Finals before is unbelievable. Devin Booker, he's only 24 years old, but it's been a rough road to this point until now. Here he was after the game on getting to the NBA Finals after those lean years.
You know, that's what I said to Jay Gaspar, equipment manager. He's the only one in the organization that's been here longer than me. You know, he's going on year 30, so he was here, and Julie. So Julie's been here also. But it's been a long time coming. We've seen the bottom of the bottom for multiple years, and just keeping my head down. You know, waiting on this moment right here. And Monty coming in, building the culture, you know, him leaving us with the preparation meets opportunity. And, you know, that was these moments right here. And we took it and we ran with it. But we still have work to do. I mean, this is nice and all, but, you know, we're going for Larry for sure.
That was a tough series, and, you know, it's only my third year, and, you know, just seeing the reaction of C made me appreciate it even more. You know, I know people say, you know, live in the moment, but that moment was too long, man. That almost felt unreal. I was like, is this too good to be true? I was like, I'm in this for too long now. But, you know, it's life, and, you know, we just got to enjoy this night, get back in the lab, and get ready for the finals.
Not just for Chris Paul to get to the finals for the first time, but to do it in that fashion. 41 points, 8 assists. I mean, it was ridiculous, Craig. 23 of 29 points he scored at one point for the Suns in the third quarter and fourth quarter. He finished 26 of the last 34 points for the Phoenix Suns. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Wow. This conversation doesn't even start anywhere else other than Chris Paul, right? I mean, he just willed this team to a win. 16 of 24 from the floor, 7 of 8 from three-point land, 41 points, as you said, 8 assists. Chris Paul found a way to make this team make it to the NBA Finals this year. He was phenomenal last night.
Yeah, closing time with Chris Paul, it was a beautiful thing to watch. And how about this? First player in the last 66 years, that's the shot clock era, to score 35 points and hit 2/3 of their shots in multiple series-clinching wins in the same postseason. I mean, that was historic stuff we saw from Chris last night. And then how about Devin Booker? The aggressiveness, you've been calling for it this entire series. And boy, did he, not only Devin, but the entire team, came out with that edge, that energy, and that aggressiveness. And this is the result, a huge win over the Clippers.
You know what Chris Paul said after the game? He said, before the game, I was working on my fingers, and I said, forget it. I'm not wearing the tape anymore. And he said, I looked over, and Devin Booker said, I'm not wearing the mask either. So let's get rid of the mask. Let's get aggressive. Devin Booker settled in after forcing a few things early, but he finished with 22 points. And again, Devin with that tenacity, just again, that backcourt, we've talked about him all postseason, Colin, but that backcourt, when they're playing well, this team wins.
Yeah, that offense finally found a rhythm after being out of sync since game one of the series. All right, we got to talk about the role players because they were huge in just kind of getting the game into Chris Paul time late there. Jay Crowder had a phenomenal night shooting after having a really quiet series. Cam Payne looked way more healthy than he has since he rolled that ankle. I mean, even Dario Saric stepped up. That was the ultimate team win, what we've seen from the Suns all season long.
Jay Crowder with 19 points. Are you kidding me? If you would have said that going into the game last night, I would have said, no, there's no way Jay Crowder's going to get 19. He finished 5 of 9 from three-point land. And then there was DeAndre, too. Not a lot. I mean, 16 points, but 17 rebounds. As long as they continue to feed DeAndre, he's phenomenal. And then, like you said, you've got Dario Saric with 7. Cam Payne came through with 7 and 7 assists. This team was clicking on all cylinders, and that was without Cam Johnson, who was out for a non-COVID-related illness.
And who had been one of their more consistent players in this entire Clippers series. It was obviously a massive win for the Suns last night, an exciting time in the Valley. And now it's like DeAndre said, it's back to the lab. They got to rest up and get ready to see if they're going to face Milwaukee or Atlanta. The Suns are the heavy betting favorites to win the NBA title. How does that sound?
That sounds great, and especially after a 27-point win last night over the Clippers, 130-103 the final. The Suns clinched the Western Conference Championship in 6 games over the Clippers. That sounds awesome to me. Let's move on to the next round.
All right, Coach Craig Fouhy, Colin Harmon, thank you, boys. The team wasting no time rolling out the new Suns championship swag.
From T-shirts to hats and jerseys, all of it is available to order right there on the team's website.
Next on ABC 15 Mornings, don't toss out that old cell phone. The Let You Know team breaking down some incentives. Yeah, some incentives that may make you repurpose it.
You oversleep, maybe you spill your coffee. Little things can put your day in a funk. But post it on the bulletin board how to hit the restart button and make things better.
All right, a time check for you at 6:15. Let's talk about that most accurate forecast here this morning. We've got a few lingering clouds out there, but all in all, it's a dry start to what could be another stormy day across the state. Maybe not as much activity as we saw yesterday, but those high country storm chances continue. There's still a slight chance for storms in the valley today, and we're going to keep those storm chances around through the holiday weekend, too. As we look at conditions on Desert Doppler radar this morning, though, we had some clouds in southeast Arizona. Those continue to thin out, making for a beautiful sunrise earlier here in the valley, but all in all dry on Desert Doppler radar. But notice as we look at our storm potential today, just general thunderstorms, not severe thunderstorms. We're talking a chance at least across most of Arizona, the exception being that western pocket of the state where it is going to be a little bit quieter, even in spots like Bullhead City and Lake Havasu. But Kingman, still a slight chance for storms. And as you look at Futurecast, as we get some of that daytime heating interacting with our monsoon moisture, we start to get those storms going. And they get going, you know where, over the higher terrain first, around Prescott Prescott, around Kingman, up into Flagstaff too. We'll see more activity around Yavapai County, a few scattered storms in Gila County too, and in the White Mountains. You're also going to notice more storm activity down near Tucson today too. For the valley though, through all of this, we're just going to have to watch and see. Today's chances for storms look a little less promising than yesterday, and yesterday wasn't a great day. I mean, we had 1 or 2 little pop-ups right in central Phoenix, which was really nice. Only a trace of rain in Phoenix Sky Harbor, but again, we'll take what we can get. Today, those chances limited, but we're just not completely in the clear. So a few pop-ups will be possible this afternoon into the evening. And then overnight tonight, I think we get some clouds, remnant clouds from those storms to our southeast today. And overnight, we could pick up a few showers by early tomorrow morning. And then we do it again tomorrow. We heat things up. We see storms develop along the rim. And in fact, tomorrow looks a little more promising for storm chances, with those storm chances continuing into the weekend too. So here's what you've got to be on the lookout for. Like the last few days, the biggest hazards will be strong winds with any storms that develop and some areas of dust, especially through some of our open desert areas and around the valley. For the high country, hail will be a factor once again, at least some small hail, as we've seen with some of those thunderstorms already this week. And flooding continues to be a big risk, particularly in our burn scar locations. There's a high risk for flash flooding as those thunderstorms set up again today. Right now, we're looking at mostly clear skies. I also want you to note that with all of that sunshine that we're going to see through the day today, before those storms get going later on, we've got our ozone pollution that's going to build up because of all of that sunshine. So we are going to see an ozone high pollution advisory in effect again today, as ozone will likely reach unhealthy levels for sensitive groups by this afternoon. And then tomorrow, we've got a high pollution watch. Saturday as well. Those could be upgraded to advisory. So a reminder, especially if you have any breathing sensitivities, it's going to be a good idea to limit your time outdoors, and especially during the afternoons when we see the highest concentrations of ozone pollution. Temperatures right now, low to mid 80s, not feeling too bad out there. Humidity will climb a little bit more today, so you'll notice a little bit more moisture in the air. Temperatures in the 90s by 9 a.m., then hundreds this afternoon, with a repeat of yesterday's high temperature 106 and that 20% chance for storms this afternoon. Hotter in western Arizona with 70s, 80s, and a few 90s up north. And then look at that forecast. Very consistent temperatures through the weekend, both highs and overnight lows. But storm chances continue too through the holiday before dropping slightly next week.
ABC 15 Desert Drive Time, sponsored by Accident Law Group.
Looks good, Iris. Thank you. Let's get a check of your traffic this morning. Before you head out the door, an update for you on that crash on the I-10 eastbound near 187. It has reopened. The right lane is still blocked. So you see all of this red on the map near Sackatoon, but traffic is finally able to move. As we move back into the valley, the 17, the 101, and the 51 looking great. No crashes to report on those freeways at speeds at or above 65 miles per hour. We're still tracking this incident in the West Valley. Bethany Home Road between Cotton Lane and the Loop 303 is going to be blocked off. Again, this is off their freeway, and you're likely going to see some restrictions in the area on the westbound and northbound exit ramps at Bethany Home Road, so keep that in mind. At the Stack, we're seeing great conditions there as you're approaching, and along the Durango curve, speeds right around 60 miles per hour. As we look in the East Valley, the 60 in both 202s looking good. Your desert drive time on the I-10 eastbound from the Split to the 202 Santan is 65 miles per hour, 11 minutes for that desert drive time, Kaylee.
Okay, thank you. It's 6:20, and when your day gets off to a bad start, there are ways to hit the reset button and try again. Maybe it's you this morning. Hang on, we're going to get you through this. This is on today's bulletin board. We know a series of negative setbacks can ruin the entire day, but instead of letting those negative thoughts flood your mind, when these challenges do come up, and they will, give yourself a second chance. How? Try to let go of what's irritating you by maybe focusing on something else. Maybe it's playing music that gets your mood going, right? Maybe it's AC/DC or something like that. Maybe it's helping someone who could use a hand. It could be a simple phone call to someone you love. If all else fails, you could write out the top 3 things that are irritating you and let it all go when you rip it up. Finally, remember, when most people are asked if they'd be willing to trade their problems for somebody else's, we all typically prefer our own. Just some perspective on today's bulletin board.
I like that. Still ahead, the state of travel. Arizona is rebounding from 2020 shutdown, but not all areas are recovering at the same rate. We go in depth to let you know what's happening.
And before the Suns could even make it back to the Valley of the Sun last night, an impromptu celebration parade right there in front of the arena.
Welcome back. Okay, so when you get a new cell phone, What do you do with the old one? Most people just throw it out, but all new this morning, the Let Joe Know team has some options that are not just better for the environment, but better for you as well.
You buy an old cell phone, you just chuck the old one. Well, it doesn't have to be that way.
You can use it for a number of different uses that have nothing to do with connecting to a cellular network.
Data Doctor's Ken Colburn says old phones can still connect to Wi-Fi, opening up a whole lot of new options, like a security camera or baby monitor.
They can connect through your Wi-Fi, and then you can use it to remotely access to check on what's going on in your home.
Apps like Alfred Camera, Nancy Baby Monitor, and GOGH Baby Monitor allow you to plug in the old phone as a monitor, then check it out wherever you are. You even have audio to communicate. Old phones could be your dedicated device for Zoom or email or texting through apps. You could use it for reading or gaming. How about giving it to your child as their first mobile device? A lot less costly if there's a problem.
Also, you have more control over when it gets used because it can only be used through Wi-Fi.
You can check for trade-in values on sites like Amazon, Apple, Nextworth, and MaxBack, but likely, unless it's new, you won't get much. Another option, Colburn says, donate it.
There are programs that will help soldiers that are serving overseas to make calls without being charged an exorbitant fee.
That's done through cellphonesforsoldiers.com. Also check out AmericanCellPhoneDrive.org, 911cellphonebank.org, and medic.org to donate. You can also recycle. All Data Doctor's locations will take your electronic devices and do just that. Whatever you do, Colburn says, please don't throw them away.
These phones are full of toxic materials, and hundreds of millions of phones are ending up in our landfills.
But before you do any of these things, make sure you get rid of all the information on your phone. You can do that through a factory reset in your settings. It's a lot of information. Go to abc15.com/letjoeknow. I've got links to all of it right there. I'm Investigator Joe Ducey. If you got a problem, let me know.
All right, Joe, thank you. Okay, art fans, you're going to have to wait a little longer to be immersed in the works of Vincent van Gogh. The new exhibit being pushed back to opening on August 26th. Immersive Van Gogh will be open through November 28th at the Lighthouse Art Space, which is absolutely beautiful in Scottsdale. Up next here, ABC15 Mornings at 6:30. Dry forests and fireworks. It's a combination firefighters are begging all Arizonans not to mix for the holiday weekend. The other steps we can all take to help crews fighting the flames.
And fans went crazy here last night outside Phoenix Suns Arena after their huge road win. And now we can say that the Suns, they are in the NBA Finals. I'll have all of that fan reaction coming up after the break in a live report.